is it safe to say that spiritual with your kids having gifts and being spiritually inquisitive, that's something that you have to parent as well?
Yeah. And it
Okay.
was like when my daughter came home and that, because society, we are different, in society's eyes. We're out of the norm. My whole family is, my husband, my kids, we are. In what people, and I get judged every day. I mean, if it's not for my tattoos or my hair or my spirituality or that, I get hate mail from people who consider them Christians. That email me and say that I'm the devil and I'm going to, go to hell and I'm doing this and I'm doing that. And all I'm really doing, trying to do, help people. And so, I get judged every day. So it's not in denial that, like, I know that with children, especially when they're highly intuitive and parents don't understand that, it scares the parents.
Yeah.
And I was scared for my children at a young age, being in school. Luckily they're older now, but going through it as young. And when my daughter, who is talking to fairies and stuff and going, back to that, going to school and telling me that kids are making fun of her, I had to make a decision because I didn't want that tainting her or making her not want to talk to fairies. But I also wanted to protect her in it. And so I had to make a decision at that time. It's like, how do I parent my child? How do I explain this to them? And so I was just open with her. And I said, not everybody can see what you can see. And not everybody understands it. And that's okay. And that doesn't mean what you're seeing is there. And maybe you just don't talk to them about that. And you can talk to us anytime about that. Or I ended up starting, I started a psychic kids class specifically for parents and children together, so that the kids, because I have parents come to me all the time. My youngest client was 3 years old. His mother
Wow.
would bring to me on a regular basis. And because he was seeing things that she didn't understand. And the one thing I always tell parents is you have to educate yourself. You have to learn in order to, if you're going to, you're highly intuitive, you're just going to have to learn about it. And so the class that I would teach is for children and their parents. So it's like the basis with the kids. So we would just do psychic activities and it was so neat to see. Like my first class was so amazing. Like you have all these different age groups. And I just remember it very vividly because I used to have a yoga center and I would teach classes, all that. And I had like 10 kids come to this class, and these parents come in and I feel energy in these parents being stressed out because the kids are going crazy, right? Because you got a bunch of different kids, and most likely a lot of kids who are psychically in tuned or empaths or indigos or anything along that line, they are a little bit more high strung normally. They get, because they're picking up on other people's energy, and so learn how to know the difference, their energy and someone else's, and so it's just a jumble within them. And so in the class, the parents are like trying to control their children, and I telling them, don't. I want to see them, how they're acting. Let them be free. And so there's these kids running around everywhere, like 10 different kids, and they're all different age groups. But you could tell that they know that they're there for a psychic class, and they know that if they're there for that kid over there is that too. So they know that they can connect to them. Maybe not to anybody else in their world, but they can connect to that other child. And my children were there, and they were older when I started these classes, so they were there to help. And it was just amazing because the moment I said, okay, we're going to sit and we're going to meditate, it stopped. I said, let's get in a circle. And they all got in a circle and they meditated. And it wasn't long, but it was enough. And they just focused, and they focused on every activity I had them do. And the parents were like, what is going on here? It's because you're embracing the gift, because they're excited about that. They're learning about themselves. And then through the course of the class, the parents were also learning, and I was giving the parents tips and tools of what to do and what not to do, and that kind of stuff. But it was just amazing to see. And so it's you have to, when you have highly intuitive psychic kids, you have to learn too as a parent in order to, because I had to discipline my children differently, you know, with knowing their gifts. Because my son being indigo, I couldn't do, he didn't care if I took everything away from him. He didn't care. He's meant to hear, indigo children are meant to hear to do purpose. They're meant to tear things down so things can be rebuilt. And so they have to be defiant in a sense. They have to, you know, go against the grain. And that's part of their, like, I call it their superpower. It's part of their superpower. And as a parent, it's like, what do I do with this child that won't listen? And I had to learn. I had to learn how to parent my son. And you know, the proof, I just look at, he's 23 now, so it's like I always refer to him, he's such a good kid and he's like stable and just all these things. I'm like, I must have did something right because he turned out really well. So, you know, and he's very, very still very outspoken. I always allowed my kids to be outspoken. They could even, you know, if I tell them, you know, even with your parent, you know, I don't know how to do as a parent. I mean, you don't be a parent. I mean, when you have children, you just learn as you go. So sometimes I can be wrong. And so my kids were allowed to say, hey, Mom, I don't know about that, in a respectful way. And then we would talk about it. And then, you know, either I would sway to what they would say, or I would say, you know what, no, this is what I need from you as a parent. I'm being your parent. So, you know, but yeah, you know, you do have to parent them in a certain way.